Hey, Courtney with Ginger Knots here again, and this is round 3 of how I am working to improve my photography. If you look back into my previous videos, you'll see that I initially did concept photography, and then this round 2 was how to improve my flat lays. This is round 3, portrait photography, or more aptly, self-portrait photography. I always feel really awkward in front of the camera. It's my least favorite part of designing a garment, which is something I've been doing a lot more of, so I need to be able to take pictures of myself in the garments. Today's project is a little bit different than most of the crochet and knitting patterns I've written. Rather than being a stitch-by-stitch tutorial of how to make this exact sweater, which is available, it is more of a guide for how to design your own boxy open front cardigan using any stitch, any hook size, any needle size, yarn type, and come up with a garment that fits you exactly. So I will be posting that video shortly, but that blog post is already live, as well as tutorial videos on my TikTok for how to make not only this particular sweater, but also how to design your own. So I want to do the photography for it today. And it's really hard to find clothes in my wardrobe that work with whatever crochet and knitwear design I'm doing. So if you see repetition in the shirts I'm wearing, that is why. So here is the garment. My setup for today is I've got my phone actually right outside the camera frame here, propped up, because that's how I like to take my photos, although I do have a DSLR camera. And then I have my lighting here, I have lighting in the window over here, and I bothered to do my hair and makeup today. And I'm going to go ahead and leave my camera running and do a speed up so you can kind of see what that process looks like for me. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare, if you're not familiar with it, is an online community of makers. So things like photography, which is what I'm using it for. You can also find crocheting, knitting. Actually, when I was typing in self-portrait, self-defense came up. So there's quite a wide variety of topics, and you're going to be able to learn something from there. What's cool about being sponsored by Skillshare is that I'm able to offer you the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description of this video free access to Skillshare for a trial. So go ahead and click that link and sign up, and go ahead and search for the videos. I'll show you here which video I used. Today's video is by Claire Peterson, called How to Take Beautiful Self-Portraits for Blogging and Instagram, Self-Portraiture Photography. She did inspire me to test out my DSLR camera for the next round of this, but this is a look at the platform. You can see there are segments in the video, so you can skip around. There's also discussion with the teacher and anyone else in the class. Some other topics, like crochet, for example, you can see the variety and just how many different videos are available for each topic. Quite a lot of options in here, so it's really worth testing it out and even subscribing. The subscription is less than $10 a month if you sign up for an annual pass. Absolutely worth it for all of the fantastic content that you'll have access to. This is some of the stuff that I am doing a deep dive in right now. One of the things talked about in the video is using props. And so I'm bringing in my sketchbook, which is really actually pretty important for this project, since you'll want to draw up the squares before you make them. So I'm going to have this as a prop. I'm also going to have a pencil, this chair, maybe my hair less messy as a prop. And so that's hopefully what I'm going to be able to capture, is the mood of the design process, rather than me standing showing you exactly what this finished project looks like, because everybody's finished garment will look different. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm now ready to take my photos. I have my props here, I have my phone right outside the frame, I have a ring light set off to the side. I don't want it to be too direct. Ring lights, you can always see the reflection in people's eyes, so I'm trying to have it be offset, and then I have natural light with the window. So that's kind of how I'm trying to make sure this shot is framed up. My my phone for taking the photography is going to be up and down long ways, and then I'll use a few different editing apps once I get a couple of shots that I like. I typically take between 50 and 75 pictures and end up with maybe 4 or 5 that I actually like. So that's part of the process, is accepting that most of the pictures you take you're probably not going to love. I tend to look pretty weird, and I make strange facial expressions when I'm using the timer. When I think I'm looking cute, I mostly look like I'm trying to be too dramatic. So here we go. I'll go ahead and speed this up so you can see it on a time lapse. I started out by trying to sit in this chair, and it turns out my camera was a bit close in this room. I'm in a whole home remodel at the moment, so I don't have a ton of room to take these pictures. So I took the chair out and then took a few just of the garment, which isn't really the vibe that I'm going for in the end result. So then I started working in with my props, especially my measuring tape, because that's really the differentiator from other projects I've done, and also with my sketchbook. So those are some of the ones that I liked the most in the end. But during this whole process, unfortunately, my cell phone was set to portrait mode, and that really didn't allow me to get pictures I liked. So I came back a few hours later and took some more that had a little bit worse lighting, but overall better photos. So here is a finished look at the finished product.